You guys have just walked back into the Lost Bulwark, confronted by a contingent of Court City Guard. I think you better come with us.
Oh, God. Do we have to?
It's in your best
we have to-
interest, I think.
Insight check. Yeah, I see no problem with it.
Legit.
Yeah.
It is in your best interest.
Rowan is also gonna do insight though.
Look, man, we've had a really, you have no idea the shit we've been through tonight.
Oh, we have
just-
some idea. I know at
Go
least
on.
two of you were at the
No.
Tower of the 12 earlier, at the scene of Oren Damadani's death.
But we're talking about literal shit though. Like we've been through some literal shit.
Yes, I
And
can
that we
smell it,
saved your
yes.
hand.
Yeah, it hasn't been great.
Maybe you should
Well,
shower and get changed before you come say hello to Nora and Amelia.
What?
Ah, thought that would change your tune.
You have them?
Yes, we have them. They're safe.
All right.
Well, I guess
What
we
are we
have no
waiting
choice
for?
then.
Lead on.
We'll come with you now.
Alright, they lead you up to a secure
While we're on
barracks.
the way, Zero drinks one of his potions of bath.
Alice looks at you and then looks back, double takes as you just completely change, and she's still got blood soaked all over her mithril half plate.
If I see that happen, I'll hand Alice a potion and be like, "This will do the same thing for you, mate."
Right. She drinks it, and her mullet becomes beautifully permed again.
Oh no, it's not a potion
It
of
wasn't
bath.
a potion of bath.
It's a potion of poison resistance.
Oh, right.
Feeling great.
Yeah.
They lead you back to the central ward and
How long
to
did that last?
the headquarters of the city guard. On the way, they explain. So, Golan de Jurasco presented himself to us earlier this evening, admitting to various war crimes, among other things, and also turned over custody of your two friends to us.
That's not at all suspicious.
Ruddy, Mr.
long ago?
Why did he suddenly come forward?
Your guess is as good as mine. At the moment, there's been a lot of babbling and something about a thing living beneath the city and
Several.
secret labs and experiments and all manner. Frankly, it's all above my pay grade. So,
Ah, so he's got it about right then.
this is for the magistrate to deal with, and I'm sure they'll have some questions for you as well. I have to thank you all for coming quietly, by the way.
Well, thank you for being so hospitable.
I think
Hard
you're not
to-
attacking us.
Yeah. Hard not to go.
What was the tone in which he said that, Josh?
Genuinely, like, surprised, like he's
Oh, okay.
expecting that.
All right. He wasn't like being, thanks for coming quietly. Now
No,
let
it
me
wasn't
put a
like
dagger in your
no,
back.
no.
Yeah.
They lead you
Because
to
I
the.
literally have 0 spell slots left. Like, I'm fucked if anything happens.
They lead you to the Lions headquarters, yeah, and you file inside. You go to like a small sort of lounge area / mess hall, and Nora and Amelia are sitting at a table, holding some sort of hot drink. There's a crackling fire in the corner of the room. They turn when they see the 6 of you being herded in by the lions. Nora and Amelia sprint across the room to Zero and Ronan respectively, and just sort of like dive for a waist high big hug.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Are you well?
I'm okay now.
Good. So, what happens now?
We'll need you to remain in Korth, at least for a few days, until we work out just exactly what has been going on here. We do ask that you provide your full cooperation.
Well, I can't speak for my comrades, but you'll have no issues with me.
He sort of like narrows his eyes a little bit. Never seen a warforge of your design before.
I get that a lot.
You never will again.
Stab.
Curious. Well,
Why is that?
we'll leave the 8 of you to get reacquaintance. We've organized lodgings for you here.
Not a
Clean-
cold cell, I hope.
No. Clean beds. I'm afraid they're rather uncomfortable. The men are used to them. Oh, they'll be fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll have guards
Bathing
posted
facilities.
outside.
Right.
Wonderful.
Very comfortable.
They file out of the room. Leave you guys alone.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I need a drink.
Amelia looks up at you. She's like, is it over?
I think so.
Golan just all of a sudden snapped and called the guards, turned himself in, released us.
I have a theory on that.
I think I do too.
How long ago did this happen?
No, roughly 90 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. I'm not sure. It's been a long night.
I have a big brain theory, in fact.
Just to go and to correlate that, is it how long ago we killed the big brain / the
Roughly. Yeah.
roughly? Yeah, cool.
So just before. Alright.
I think it's over. I think the reason why that Golan was had such a change of heart was due to the fact of what we were doing beneath the city.
Amelia just breathes like a deep sigh of relief. Sort of grabs Nora's hand.
Glad that you're both safe.
Thanks to you.
We've all done what we could.
You spend the early hours of the morning sort of catching each other up on what happened. Nora and Amelia reveal that Amelia's hiding place in Shan was compromised, and she was taken by cultists, and so was Nora. And they were transported via black airship here to Korth, and kept prisoner by Golan since then. The next morning, you're interviewed by person after person, magistrates, guard captains, members of the 12, or their servants at least. Seems the moment the Elder Brain lost its grip on Golan, he turned himself in. He's turned them event. I assume, do you guys turn over Pola's journal? Spell shard?
Yeah. Well, sorry, I don't have it, so...
Yeah, I will.
Between Capola's spell shard, Golan's testimony, they begin to organize a court. Golan will be tried for all the crimes he committed. And they are starting the process of indicting Matthias Ertain for his part in it as well. And a long process has started of unraveling the puppeteers behind the decade-long ordeal. A few days later, the four of you are released. And although you're asked not to disappear, you're free to do whatever you want.
Rook's gonna disappear.
Yeah, I cast invisibility on everyone. Honestly, yeah. Everyone's released at the same time?
Yeah.
Alright, I know it's been a few days, but that drink we wanted?
Please.
I think it's about time.
Did we get a long rest while we were in there? Or is it?
Yeah. I don't know. At this point, you guys are able to leave Korth if you wish. Zero, as a member of House Madani, you're kind of aware that despite the fact you have the amulet, they'll probably be pretty on the mark of keeping tabs on you. And they say that, they're going to need your testimony against when the case does arise against Matthias Ertain.
How long till that process is due?
They're not sure. They're still unraveled. They're sending envoys out to the 3 installations. They're sending envoys out to Vralkek to see what they're up to out there. And Prod, turns out you're also filled in at some point on those few days about Morden the Fialan, aka Morden the Flesh Weaver. He was he's the House Fialan's representative on the 12 long time ago. He was a very, very powerful wizard who started dabbling in occult rituals and eventually started dabbling in things relating to the Dalkir. He established his little headquarters below the city and created Morden's legacy. Before he was finally caught, he was excoriated from the 12. And they attempted to execute him in multiple ways, but he always survived every single time and regenerated. So eventually, all they could do was just exile him. So he went to Drum, and has remained there ever since. It's suspected at some point, as your story correlates with Oren and Capola visiting Drum and Vralkek and its surroundings, that they must have somehow got an audience with Morden the Flesh Weaver at some point and found out about Morden's legacy that way. A place they could exploit below the city of Korth.
Does Coppola's journal like say what their end game was?
Coppola,
Like-
unlike Oren, he had, at least in the early days, it seemed like his journal entries up until recently were clearly like nefarious in nature, but he seemed like the older brain wasn't touching him the way it was Golan and Oren until recently. So at first he was just being exploited for his own savagery in his experiments. But whereas Golan was being manipulated by the older brain, Dr. Coppola was just outright doing it for himself. They suspect, well, everybody, it's common knowledge, at least to the higher levels of government, that mind flayers, elder brains, other aberrations are servants of the Dalkir. And that it was a Dalkir plot. Specifically the followers of Dern the Corruptor. The four of you are now free to either head your own ways, or I know a few of you probably want to head back to Shan, at least briefly.
Yeah.
Alice is going to stick around with Parker.
Parker's plan is to head back to Shan and then to Ringbriar.
Well, Alice is following along.
Did we get paid at all? Because we need money to get back to Shan.
So the valuables that you recovered from Morden's legacy, assuming you didn't turn them over, you just did you turn over the valuables you found, or you just kept them in your handy haversack?
No. Yeah, yeah. No way.
You have enough money to cover transport back to Shan.
Alright.
Including Amelia
Yes.
and Nora.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Everyone. Cool. Well, yeah.
Wait.
Ronan's definitely gonna go back to Shan with Amelia.
I guess I'll fork out for you guys just this once. You have my back all the way up here.
Well, I think isn't Josh saying that from the proceeds of what we're stolen, everyone's covered, so we don't have to take out the money that we currently have? Is that what I was?
No, Kyle was saying that Kyle's already added that to his
we're
own
in the
personal
epilogue at this point.
Oh
We're-
my god!
we're-
Really, you want to do it? You.
we're in the. This is the epilogue. You don't have to worry about inventory management. It's fine.
Yeah. Alright, who's coming back to Shan then?
Parker,
I am.
what's your plan?
I just want to go back to Ringbriar.
Well,
Coming.
if you have me,
Of course I will.
I'll need a new partner.
Well, I heard Ringbriar's about to need a new sheriff. Current one's retiring.
Yeah, I think you do well in that role.
No, I am the sheriff, Alice. I'm retiring.
What? Right, well, I guess we'll have my people speak to your people, and we'll see what we can negotiate. What's the retirement like?
The retirement?
Yeah, you're gonna have to tell me how it is.
Hopefully it's fucking quiet.
Alright, we'll discuss this on the travels. But I'll think about it.
Alright, so you all jump on the lightning rail
I'm gonna stay.
in Korth?
Oh.
Staying in Korth?
Yeah. So my understanding is so that House Madani said that they'll. Well. Oh no, because Urtain, when the like, you know, charges, trial, and shit are brought against Urtain, where's that gonna be? Is that
It
gonna be
will
in Shan, or is that gonna be here in Korth?
It depends if they're able to arrest him, and you know he's a very rich, very powerful man, so it's up in the air at this point. I mean, you suspect he might even get away with it.
Is the plan when the trial happens, they'll send letters or notices out to us so that we turn up?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Well, it's more that Ciro wants to be involved more in a larger capacity.
Like actually investigate with them?
Yeah, if he's allowed to be. I don't know if he can. Technically a witness.
They're happy to have you on board. So if you wish to stay, you
Ronan-
can stay.
Well, would that require Ciro to stay, or is that... It probably makes more sense for him to go back to Shan, because that's where Ertain is.
That's where it all started.
So yeah, never mind. I'll go back to Shan.
Alright. The 8 of you board the train back to Shan. It is
Ciro's gonna go to like the like dining car. I assume there's like a dining car, right?
there is.
Very fancy, remember?
He's gonna
Fancy.
get himself a very stiff drink.
Alright.
He's gonna like have it in his hand, and have like a little sip, and then have like just a quiet, silent like toast to his 2 brothers. Almost got him. This one's for you guys. And then he'll down it and go back and join everyone else. Wherever they might be.
It's an overnight trip again, back. Once again, like you on the long trip through the Undair countryside, through the Thrainish countryside, and then through Breland, where you finally arrive back in the hustle and bustle of Shan.
Well, fuck
The-
me, I do not miss this place.
The 4 of you have anything to say to each other before you go separate ways?
Will you be alright, Ciro?
What do you mean?
Well, with wherever you're going, are you going to be fine?
Oh, you know, I'll be right. Couldn't be any worse than all of this nonsense.
Well, if it is, at least you're ready for it.
I mean, if things really get dicey, I know where to find you, Sheriff.
Congratulations.
I haven't exactly accepted the job.
You should.
Zero
man.
just gives a knowing look at Parker. It's like, come on.
You'll do great.
But Ciro, will you be alright?
Yes, Alice. You know, the sheriff's job doesn't usually require such a personal touch.
I'm just making sure that your travels around wherever they may take you, you'll be able to handle it yourself. You don't need.
Don't worry, Alice. I'll look after him. We're family.
Right. I'm so confused. I'd still. Ronan, do you know if they are or are not?
I do.
Look, the nose. The nose gives it away, but at the same time.
To be honest, all your squishies look the same, but I feel that these two it transcends the squishiness. You know, they found each other. May not be blood, but might as well be.
Yeah. Well, look, if you are ever in need of me, you know where to find me. Find us. She cocks her head towards the other 2.
No. He's retired now.
I'm sure he'll find any excuse to take up the sword again. You know how they always say like they hate the job when they're doing it, and then in retirement they get bored. I'm sure I'm going to be micromanaged to hell.
Well, enjoy it while you can.
Yeah. Be nice to finally scare off some, herders or some bandits, rather than chasing down bloody abhorrent creatures and fighting giant brains.
You'll get bored quite quickly, I'm sure.
I hope so.
So what about you, Ronan? What's next for you?
I have some unfinished business that I need to take care of
Well, don't we all?
in this plane, and then once I've finished all that needs to be done here, I'll go find my master and help him with all his duties. I'm hoping that Millie might be interested in coming with me as well, but that's all up to her. It's been an honor serving with you three. Wish you all the best.
You too.
Are you
Ronan.
gonna stick around the city for a couple of days, Ronan?
I will.
Alright.
Well, I hope wherever you
Information's
turn up,
done.
you feel comfortable.
Thank you. Ever since I left the service, I've always found a home. The home may have been taken away, but always found another one.
You're always welcome with us.
I'm sure you'll find me, or if I need you, I'll find you.
Yeah, no trouble around Ringbriar, alright? It'll just be awkward. Here's for all of you.
Don't worry.
Ronan would never do that.
No,
Part
change
of
my
me
ways.
thinking about you too, Zero. Rook, thought you hated this city. What's your plan?
I'm getting my brother, and I'm getting the fuck out. Gonna look back. Never look back. Gonna leave Sean in the dust. But
Yeah, you're always welcome.
I do have some research I need to conduct. Make sure that the sorry lot that turned out to be the Kenneth leaders never get their hands on this kind of technology again.
Wish you all the best.
But if you're all sticking around the city for a couple of days, just be on the lookout for some mail.
Well, I'm assuming that we're all going to go back to our apartment, right?
Yeah, but
You're
I'm not
kicking
going.
us out, are you, kid?
No, you can be in there as long as you want, mate. But I'm out of here as soon as I can.
Parker, what's
Very
our
well.
plan?
Well,
Interesting.
I'm heading out Ringbriar first thing in the morning. Coming?
Alright. I am.
Alright then.
I am.
Right, if I crash here tonight, Rook, is your place?
Go for it, mate. Look, you can have the bloody place if you want. Just don't tell Banksy.
Who's Banksy?
Just don't tell
Oh,
him.
oh, you will love him.
Alright, so Parker departs the next morning with Rin and Alice, heading back to Ringbriar. And I'm going to a few days, maybe even weeks pass.
Is there something that I can do just before, like in the day following?
Yeah, sure.
I'd like to go to a blacksmith, I suppose, or someone who deals in creating small trinkets and items.
Yeah.
Um,
You could
I
probably
wanna
go to the
get-
same guy that made the bobblehead for you.
that is exactly the place I was thinking of. I want to get 3 things made.
Okay.
I would like to get a flask, as ornate as he can make each of these items. A flask that engraved on the bottom says, "I hope you never have to use me, but I'll always be here if you do." I'll get a set of sheaths for a long and short curved sword. that say "May your blades ever stay sharp." And I would like to get an ornate metal comb. And I would like to send those items to Ciro, Ronan, and Alice, respectively.
Oh, that's so nice.
Alright, so a few weeks pass. And I'm going to go through each of your epilogues one by one now. I'm just trying to work out
I'm
what,
gonna
what order to
interject.
do. Oh yeah,
or
go
you...
on. Yeah, if anybody has anything they want to do in those next few weeks, say it now. After Ciro.
Ciro's gonna go out and spend like a couple days searching for like just the best, most like fragrant coffee he can find, and then he's gonna buy like a bag of beans and gift it to Ronan like when he leaves.
That's very kind.
Spared no expense.
For the beans. Ronan would like just to spend time with Amelia if at all possible. She's still with us and stuff like that. Just, you know,
Yep.
doing things that isn't killing people.
I will, that will come into your epilogue.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything for their remaining time in Shan?
I want to slightly countermand the epilogue I sent to you.
Oh, okay.
In that Ciro is gonna, well, yeah, he's gonna keep working to kind of like bring down Urtain and any other people that were involved in this, because they're still out there, and yeah, this could happen again if we don't get them all.
Okay.
Well, at least the big one.
I'll start
So,
with yours, then Ciro.
sure.
So a few weeks pass. You begin the process of trying to start your own detective business, still working as a House Madani excoriate. While at the same, well, with the starting goal of exactly that, bringing down the remnants of the Noctis organization with Matthias Urtain as target number one. You're visiting Nora one afternoon in the healing house of Lower Jura, helping out with the around. There's a knock on the just like the hallway door. There's no door, but the opening in the hallway. There's like a knock on the wall, and the two of you turn. You see Blanca, the House Madani agent from here in Shan, at the door. Those of you who don't remember, Blanca is has a beautiful olive complexion and like dark red locks, and like he wears like a coat with a very low neckline to show off his dragon mark that's like right in the center of his chest. He walks in just like with his usual confident stride, like a big heaving cardboard box under his arm. All right, Ciro.
Blanca, been a long time.
It has. Heard you've been up to a bit of fun.
Well, maybe not fun. You know, there was some dicey stuff in there.
Well, I've got something for you here. Care of House Madani, Hour of the 12. It appears Oren de Madani, in his final moments, left his entire last will and testament to you. Seems Oren wasn't a very materialistic man. There's a handsome sum sitting in a House Kundarak vault for you to do with what you will. But more importantly, is this was in his safety deposit box. He slides the box over to you.
I'll open it.
Inside, there's a collection of files, the original reports you filed during the war that put away a lot of half-elves and other half-bloods into the grasp of Noctis. I heard you needed some additional evidence to bring down Urtain.
Yep. Yeah, I think this will do nicely. Thank you.
No worries. And here's your ticket. He reaches into his coat and hands you a lightning rail ticket. I'll see you at the station first thing in the morning. I've been called in as well.
See you then.
Nora walks up behind and grabs you by the hand. You be careful, will you?
Zero just like turns. He's like, you know me. Nothing to worry about.
Oh, sorry, that reminds me. This came for you this morning. You're getting all the packages today. He hands you a little box. You open it. Inside there's a ornate flask carved with silver trimming. What was the phrase on it, Rook?
Hope
I
you
hope
don't have to use it.
but I'll always be here if you do.
Zero just like, do you want this? No, he's just like, smiles knowingly and puts it in his pocket. Well, guess I'll be back in a couple weeks.
What will Zero do with the money left in Oren's vault?
Nothing right now, but don't know. Probably just use it to help Nora, you know, franchise out her healing house.
Cool.
And then just, yeah, you know, whatever necessary expenditures are required to bring Tane down, and then to help his fledgling PI business.
Alright. Thus concludes Zero's epilogue. Alice. Give me 1 second to change the tunes. Alright, so we find ourselves on a sunny day in the fields outside Ringbriar, the local cemetery, nearby the farm where you guys fought against the Warforged Fang. Alice, you're standing with Parker in front of a gravestone marked Elias Dalton Conberg. Parker produces a flask full of spirits. Wipes a tear from the corner of his eye and then takes a swig from the flask and then pours the rest out on the grave. Rest easy, mate.
I'll put a hand on his shoulder.
Vengeance has been served. He sort of turns to look at you, Alice. Did you accept the local sentinel job?
Of course.
He like taps the badge on your chest. Looks pretty good on you.
Yeah, well, you know. No, it's comfortable. Natural almost.
He sort of he turns to leave the graveyard. Begins walking back to town. So,
Kind of spin.
got any plans to try and get in touch with your mother?
Honestly, I've thought about it, but if she clearly didn't want anything to do with me, why would I bother anything with her? Like, I've been thinking about visiting the tubes, if I can find them, but I want to feel comfortable here first.
Well, Topes weren't the most intelligent couple, to be honest. They'll probably be pretty easy to track down.
Yes, no. You're not wrong. But hey, they raised me. Thank you very much.
The farmer comes sprinting down the road. So, like, it intercepts you guys. He's, like, running across the field, just flailing his arms wildly. He's like, help! Help! Sentinel! Parker!
Yeah.
Alice!
What's wrong?
Owlbear!
Calm down.
There's an owlbear!
All right.
It's attacking my cattle!
All right. Let's do it.
I'm retired.
she's- No, I'm. You stay there. It's fine. I've got this owlbear. Show me. And she grabs the farmer and starts running.
This way! He starts scrambling up the road towards the farm.
Come on, keep up.
As you begin running after him, you hear heavy footsteps behind you. You see Parker, like, running after you, and he diverts off. He's like, wait, I'm gonna go get me sword!
I knew he could not retire easily. He just runs down the street towards it.
He begins sprinting, like, back towards the outskirts of town. You just hear him bellowing at the top of his voice, Rin! Rin! Get the Widowmaker!
Alice is chuckling, even though she knows that probably half of the sheep are dead now. She laughed. So she runs, shield out in left hand, right hand goes out to her right, and you just see a wispy blade appear in her hand.
You begin sprinting off towards the
into the
farm. We'll fade out there. Conberg was the drunkard that was ripped up by the aberration in town, by the way. Who was his best friend?
Yeah, I remember. Combo.
Alright, who's next? Ronan. Let me just put Barovian Village back on. We find ourselves in the outskirts of the Mournland, the settlement of New Sire. In the top floor of the fort there, an aging soldier, dressed in his pajamas, makes his way from the privy back to bed. In the hallway, the cabinet displaying his many wartime accolades. Hanging on his bedroom wall opposite the bed, there's a ornate officer's blade sitting on a trophy rack. He lets out a loud, bellowing fart as he slowly walks across the bedroom towards his bed. This man is Major Korax, and he once commanded Ronan's entire unit to do terrible things during the war. There's a sudden crack of thunder illuminates the otherwise dark room besides the single candle burning beside the bed. The dark illuminates the outline of a dark, muscular figure standing in the corner, waiting for the man, followed by the appearance of two glowing red eyes. The sound of a blade quickly unsheathing. Ronan, is it quick or is it painful?
It's painful.
From
It's gotta beg a little bit.
the guards post downstairs, they hear the screaming cries of agony. By the time they make their way to Major Korax's room, all they find is the butchered body on the floor and no sign of the assailant. A few weeks later, I mean a few weeks later, maybe even, we'll say 2 months later actually. Standing at the bow of a galleon. Not a House Lyrandar elemental galleon, just a mundane galleon with sails. Approaching the Sarlonan coastline. Ronan, sea spray splashes on your face. You take in front of you just enormous mountains seemingly just all of a sudden sticking out of the ocean with just as though they were just exploded out of the earth suddenly by tectonic plates colliding. You hear the voice of your teacher, Ayataro, echoing inside your head as he speaks to you telepathically from just a few feet away, standing behind you, looking at the scene as well. Welcome home, Ronan. Welcome back to Adar.
It's good to be home.
You have been through a great ordeal in recent months. You did well, my student.
Thank you.
You have tread the path of light well. But our war is just beginning. The galleon slowly heads towards the mountains. You feel as though it's about to crash and to shatter onto the rocks, but it turns into this hidden cove concealed behind this large, sort of jagged plateau, but with a sort of hollowed out in the inside. The secret entrance to the city of Davanava. Very few know about it.
Thank you for divulging to me.
We are almost there. You feel a small, trembling hand sort of grip yours, Ronan, on the other side. Amelia is standing on deck, looking over the edge as you pass into this cave. The ship passes into darkness, only illuminated by a lantern hanging from the mast. Thank you for asking me to come here.
Thank you for coming. It'd be hard to do it alone.
You'll never be alone again, Ronan.
And neither will you.
You pull up to
Let us...
a hidden dock inside this great cave on the side of the mountain, illuminated by many ever-bright lanterns floating around. You make your way up a long staircase and a series of like portcullises and gates, and you emerge up into the city of Devanara. You emerge into a busy marketplace. It's sort of just bustling with people coming and going, spice traders bringing in, the imports from the secret cove down below. Soldiers marching around, Adaran monks, Kalashtar communing with each other telepathically in town squares. We will stay here for a few days, Ronan. As long as you need. Then we must head out and go to work.
I am ready.
We will find a way into Dalcor and take the fight to the Ilashtavar.
They will not be expecting us.
I will meet you at the city gates 3 days' time in the morning.
Yes, master.
Rest up and arm yourself.
Shall see you soon.
You walk up the thoroughfare with Amelia, taking in the sights, the sounds, the smells. Ronan, I've been working on something. Obviously, as you know, I had some part in the experiments, and I've learned a lot.
We all have.
Particularly about anatomy.
Really?
I think, through means both surgical and magical, there may be a way for you to eat.
Really?
I don't know
Now,
if
this
it'll
is
work.
very interesting.
It could disfigure you for life.
Well, let's maybe we'll run some tests first. It's a promising idea. I never thought it'd be possible, to be honest.
Truth be told, I'm not saying it is possible. I have some ideas.
Well, thank you for thinking of me. I appreciate it. I've always wanted to drink coffee.
Yes, well, in the meantime, why don't we go smell some?
That sounds like a lovely idea.
I hear the coffee here is quite good.
Well, if it's what I'm smelling, then I believe they're right.
You
Choice.
both walk into a nearby cafe. And thus concludes Ronan's epilogue. Rook. A few weeks after you departed Shan, you and Reese are in the town of Vatherond, just outside the borders of the Mornland. You step off the lightning rail and head straight to the marketplace to buy supplies. You got your trusty handy haversack. You and Reese are spending, sparing no expense in buying supplies. Your trip into the Mornland, picking up also all manner of reagents and things. You've spent the days, the weeks, sort of conferring together, thinking about what devices you could try in the Mornlands, what you could build to ensure your safety. And you're preparing to put your plan into action. So, assuming we survive the Mornland, Rookie, what then?
Well, once we've done all of our research, I guess we learn how to make sure that kind of stuff never happens again, right? We work on implementing countermeasures to insane, unnecessary war machines. We work on protecting the people instead of helping to destroy them.
Maybe we should rejoin the house. Try and become the Baron.
You really think they're gonna let us become the Baron of House Kenneth?
No, I don't. Just thinking out loud, you know?
I think anything we did have with House Kenneth, it kind of got destroyed when, the only person who would ever look at us got killed.
Yeah, well, fuck him.
Agreed. Fuck him. But fuck the rest of them too.
Do this together, yeah?
Just you and me, little bro.
Should we get horses? I feel bad
Spare
if they
no
die.
expense.
What about raptors? There's any halflings around. I feel safer on a raptor.
They probably don't have to drink as much, right?
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't my line of thinking, but yeah,
I mean, more likely to survive in the desert, right?
I mean, we're pretty close to the Talented Plains. There's got to be some halflings here in town somewhere to sell us a raptor. Or House Vodalis.
I guess there's no harm in looking.
Roll me a diplomacy check. Oh wait, no, it's not Pathfinder. Roll me an investigation check.
Investigation. Can I use my inspiration?
Oh yeah.
Alright. No time like the present. 23.
23. You managed to find a small House Vodalis outpost. With its proximity to the Talenta Plains, it has 4-foot raptors for sale. As you see them, like, in the pens outside the outpost, Reese just gets visibly excited. Oh, fuck yeah!
Just don't look. Do you even? You don't know the first thing about Barton. We don't want these, remember, but we're taking them because we have to. Just let me do all the talking, all right?
Right. Yeah, good guard, bad guard.
Well, no, just me. Just only me, right?
Right.
Alright.
I won't talk unless they talk to me.
Just put your helmet down and try to look intimidating.
Alright, what I'll do is I'll pretend I'm one of them deaf mutes.
Sounds good. Wish you were like that all the time.
He slides his helmet down and then flips you off. You go inside, there's some shrewd negotiating. But eventually you're leaving the House Vodalis outpost with 2 clawfoot raptors. With sturdy knapsacks hanging from their saddles.
That's how it's done, Reese.
Still got his helmet on, and he's just like underneath it. Like, yeah, that was really good.
Thanks.
You spend the next day riding the raptors towards the Mournlands. You camp overnight. Next morning, heavily overcast. As you arrive at the edge of the Mournlands, the threshold, the land of just terror, destruction, and waste. You look up in front of you at the titanic clouds of mist that surround the entire nation that was once Sire. The grotesque formations that this mist sort of takes as it swirls around among itself. Not gonna lie, rookie. I'm about to fill me underwear.
That's why I packed you a spare pair, mate.
You learned prestidigitation yet?
Can't say I have. I was hoping that would be on your list of things to do.
Well, one spare pair of underwear is not going to be enough, mate.
Well, then I guess you have to fill that one a bit more before I give you it. Come on, Reese. It's all just ghosts and memories. Nothing in there will hurt us.
Nothing in there will hurt us? I'll bet you a gold piece you die first.
I'll take that bet.
Fucking know it. Let's go. So like kicks his raptor. The raptors reluctantly begin walking. You pass into the mist. That is an adventure for another time.
Ooh.
And this concludes our campaign. Adventurers.
Yay.
Yay! We did it, guys. We saved the world. And we all
you
had
so
happy
much,
endings.
Josh. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, dude. That was a fucking
Of course,
awesome.
guys. Thanks
Yeah,
for playing.
so sick.
Yeah, loved it. Loved it. I'm glad that we took the break from last week. Like we only did the hour session. It worked out perfectly.
Yeah. It needed to be when we got to that point, I was like, I have to stop it here for next week to work properly. Like,
I was so glad.
Yeah.
We would have been up. We would have been a 6-hour-long stream if we kept going.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Like,
I mean, thank you for playing, guys. Like, honestly, the campaign.
my pleasure.
Just
Thank you for running.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Like,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for you guys turning up every week, it just wouldn't happen. So, thank you guys.
well, thank you. Well, if you weren't there shouting out about what we were seeing, what we can't see, and throwing things at us to fight and investigations to be have, dude, like. I don't know what I'm going to do Friday nights anymore. Honestly,
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. I got all this free time.
Just sit.
I got new stuff starting soon, guys. Don't panic.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, so I've got
Escobar out
stuff
of
to
10.
watch. I got stuff to watch, and then
Well-
maybe join in later.
Will I still be able to log on to twitch.tv/Tales of Pesh?
Oh yeah, Tales Twitch TV, Tales of Pesh.
What if- What if I want to rewatch what we've already played? Is there somewhere I can go for that?
Yes, this entire series can be watched on our YouTube channel. Link below.
What?
Oh,
Great
that's
reviews, guys.
crazy.
We had some people who were loving it, so
Yeah,
do recommend.
I was.
If you guys are
Yeah.
alright to go a little bit longer, we'll do some
I
favorite
am happy.
moments and stuff, and wrap up. You can ask
Of course.
questions. Yeah, thanks, chat, for everyone for tuning in tonight. What was chat? People in the chat. What was your favorite moments from tonight? Or if you've been tuned in for some of the rest of the campaign, what were your favorite moments from the campaign? Please let me know. I would very much like to know. Want to know what our viewers think. Who is your favorite character? Who is your favorite NPC? And why
Who's
is
your
it
favorite
Banksy?
character? You fucking Banksy, goddammit.
I was like, when you mentioned Banksy during the epilogue, I was like, oh, I should have had Banksy somewhere in the epilogue.
Yeah. I was hoping Banksy would rock up, but that's alright. He was there in my heart.
Fucking Banksy. Oh my god.
I think I've never got, like, the next campaign I do, obviously, is going to be shorter, and I'm also going to, like, do highlights and stuff for YouTube, because I never did it during this one. Just because I'm still learning, the editing and YouTube stuff, but I'm fairly confident I can do some good stuff for the next one. But I really think I should go back and just do a loop of Banksy's best moments throughout the campaign.
I really like the Banksy NPC. It's just so
I
good.
think he's
Great.
gonna have to return in future Shan, and like
Definitely.
in camp. Yeah, anything to do with the bar
He's the kind of character as well that can just slot himself into basically any
He's the
storyline.
fucking who's the guy from Dark Sun? He's the fucking Salim.
Salim.
Of Eberron.
Chat, Luke and Vader, who are we on that Suro and Rook train? Yeah, I think so. Michael's an Ewok. Thank you. RTP33, your usage of Foundry blows my mind. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Although I couldn't do it with Foundry wasn't such a good program.
Oh, dude.
For those of you
Sorry.
watching who don't know, we use Foundry VTT as our virtual tabletop of choice, and it is easily the best virtual tabletop available, I would say.
100%.
So
Definitely.
good.
What else we got? I thought Nora and Ciro would have got together and raised Rock. You never know,
Well,
there's still
maybe-
time.
Rook's 18. He's already grown up.
But he needs guidance. He's a lost boy,
He is,
Like,
yeah.
Trojans like the part of the stuff where I said about the things. Thank you, Trojans, for the kind words.
Especially that one time with the thing that erupted and then, right? So good.
Did I build the map myself? Asks RTP33. If you're referring to the world map we're looking at, I definitely didn't design that. That is the Eberron. Well, we play in the Eberron setting. Sorry, in case you didn't know. And that is the Eberron
what?
world. And that is the Eberron world map. So I definitely did not design that map. It is fantastic and one of my favorite fantasy maps.
I was gonna say, sneaky little just segue into Eberron and how awesome a setting it is. I really, really enjoyed, like,
Alright.
it's just great.
Pretty
Just
good.
the fact of, like, if you play like a lot of D&D and then you know certain beasts and how they react and everything like that, everyone just like turns on their head, so you sort of get that new new player sort of experience again, which is cool.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that.
100%. Yeah.
And I
There's-
think it's the most fleshed out one by the sounds of it.
What, the most
Like-
fleshed out setting?
Yeah, I
think,
feel.
well, yeah, it's like I don't know what it's
Because you've
yeah,
got the
out
Forgotten
for-
Lands and then the Unforgotten Lands, and that's really about it.
Yeah, I mean, well,
Apart
Keith,
from
Keith Baker.
Barovia.
So do you know how Eberron came into like renown? So its designer Keith Baker like created it, and he won a competition that Wizards of the Coast ran in the early '90s, and they were trying to find a new setting, and he won that, and that's how Eberron came about. And,
There you go.
and he's just been building on that lore for like 30 years now, so it's huge,
Jesus.
and it's still being
That's
built
wild
on.
in the flesh.
Yeah. He's
Like
still,
when you
he's-
gave us
Sorry,
the
there you go.
guide, and
Yeah.
and I was like reading through it, I'm like, I don't even know where to begin.
I know,
I-
right? I was like, holy.
And then
So
you
much
were
lore.
coming out with all your stuff with the backstory and the war and stuff, and I'm just sitting there as a fucking goblin. I'm like, I'm a goblin.
Oh, well, I had a bit of a. That might be something interesting, Josh. To like go into everyone's like inspirations for their characters.
Yeah, I would love to hear that. Well, we can start with that if you like.
I mean, I'll go in between everyone. So
Well, we've got-
You can start, right?
with Kardok.
Yeah, it's not Kodok. Yeah.
Kardok. God.
Oh, can you bring up his little picture, Josh?
Oh,
for,
we'll bring up
anyone
Kardok's
who may
picture.
not have seen the first episode.
Dust that
Dust it off.
guy off. No, Kardok was obviously
Who
Goblin.
was Kardok?
Shut up. Yeah.
He was the
Oh, there
bugbear,
he is.
right?
There he is. For those of you watching, Kardok was Adam's first character in this campaign, who died in the second episode. So,
Yeah.
Recipes Kardok,
Fire-
we hardly
fire
knew
spear.
ye, but he was
Yeah.
a geezer, that's for sure.
Yes. So basically, I was watching. What was I watching recently? Just before I got invited in, I was watching. Snatch.
Okay.
And so my influence was heavily on Bricktop.
Fucking Bricktop, yeah.
Oh,
Fucking Bricktop.
Yeah.
So that's where I got the influence, where I got the voice from and the attitude, but also a little bit of the Mighty Boosh with the Hitcher.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and that's where the voice kind of came from, the attitude. But like,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
definitely like, yeah. So like, his backstory, like, he doesn't remember any of his fucking childhood. He was sold in and out of mercenary armies as a logistic runner, carrying equipment, messages, and orders to different battalions. So brought this up. He scouted for his skills later for sabotage, espionage training under a cruel hobgoblin who he just referred to as Sir. He learned how to set traps on major supply routes, taking out runners of other armies, and acquiring information from them. Basically, he was used as like a scout, and when they had people, he was very, very good at manipulating their bodies into their mouths, telling them everything that he needed.
that's a
He
chat emoji, Kyle.
It represents
Man.
all of
Villain.
Adam's dead characters in this.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
and he worked directly for Major Korax.
Ah, there you go.
He was my boss. Major
So
Korax
my-
was my boss.
My plan for Kardok, right, was sorry, we're slipping from
That's right.
characters into other things now, but my plan for Kardok was he probably had the least like extensive background in terms of like how much you guys gave me. So what I was gonna do was Kardok was gonna be like this constant source of like flashbacks and like little nuggets of lore from during the war from things he witnessed as the spy. So yeah, the
Nice.
first thing I gave Adam in the first episode was Ronan. He saw you and your unit departing for the very mission that later turned out to be where you kidnapped his next character, Oldark. There you go.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
That's what it was in the,
Yeah,
the
that was
first
the
thing.
flashback before.
The flashback last episode was me literally there.
Yeah.
I killed the family.
Did you not? Did you not notice that?
I had suspicions.
But we'll get to that. We'll get to spoilers in a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Who wants to next for character origin? What inspired your character?
Okay.
Alright, go.
The one thing I had for my character was I saw the Artificer class. This was before it came out in Tasha's. Obviously. And I was like, I want to do that because that looks cool. But I was like, how can I make it interesting? I was also like, every single other character I've played has been like some really, like, except for Kashi in the Humblewood campaign, but every other character's been kind of a badass. So I was like, what if I play someone who is not fully abled, but pulls themselves up with their brain and makes themselves fully abled? So I was like, I'll play a character that's got no arms that managed to invent their own arms and make themselves basically a superhuman.
How did
through
you
their
get his
inventions.
arms, if you don't mind me asking?
He was born without them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just like birth defect of some kind. But yeah, then because he was brought up in the Canath Enclave, and brought up basically surrounded by incredibly smart and inventive people, he learned all of his arts from them, and then was like, well, fuck this, I can do a better job than you guys can, and so refined all of his tools and whatever. But yeah, because he's all angsty and annoying because he was basically forced to do a bunch of things by Rollo, like spying on people and sending people messages that, you know, in dangerous situations, and being forced to work for him when he didn't want to, that kind of thing. So he escaped, and that's when he came into servitude of Banksy. Yeah.
Gonna miss that guy.
Banksy came into creation because Rook gave me that background, so yeah.
Nice.
So it's your
Kyle to thank for the best NPC in the campaign.
100%.
Thank you for the
100%.
follow, Fishy. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. We just concluded our current campaign, and we're doing some favorite moments.
Year-long campaign.
Yeah, year-long campaign. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I'll go.
Go.
So for Ronan, essentially when I first came to the Eberron setting, I was looking through all the races and everything like that, and I saw the Warforged. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I only exclusively play like human characters. So I was like, okay, I want to do something like a weird race, but then went with the basic build, like character, so fighter. But then that got mixed up because Josh was like, oh, you could be an Echo Knight, which then started giving me the ideas as well. Beforehand, I had the ideas of being a samurai because I was watching a lot of Kurosawa movies at the time. And then with Josh, we just sort of worked on it to be this sort of like character that met with tragedy, then followed his ways. He's trying to find his way through the world, which I thought worked really well for a Warforged who they don't have their place in society. So I was just sort of following that as a Warforged trying to find his way in the world. And then Ronan became Ronan. It was pretty dope. It was all Josh's idea for the cool backstory of the military and stuff. That was on point. I enjoyed that. Yeah,
So
that was very cool.
I was telling him Ronan actually has had 3 names in his life. Ronan is his 3rd name. So,
Yeah, what's the one before Blade?
So his first name was Blade. That's what he was built for, the military service.
Yep.
And then after
After that,
he was basically betrayed, or his unit all turned on each other, and he slaughtered all of them. And then he became Wanderer. And then as Wanderer, he was taken in by a Kalashtar village, who were then killed by Major Korax, trying to look for him. And then he became Ronan after that. So.
Yeah, after the village was, and after the village taught me how to wear the samurai and everything like that. So I took on like a samurai name to represent the town I was from, and then everything happens.
Mighty Marty TV, thank you so much for the follow, my friend. Welcome. All right, Zero, Justin, give us.
So Zero was a mishmash of two like characters from film and TV. So in all my previous games, I really wanted to kind of like play, like a sad sack pressed character.
Oh, yeah, you did well then.
And like I wanted to have like a character who had like a real kind of tragic story. I believe the first thing I told Josh about this character, don't be afraid to deal out the tragedies to him.
Oh, and I sure did that.
Sure did.
First episode, was it?
Yeah, first episode. Zero was a combination of Detective Miller from The Expanse, so like a real washed up, depressed as fuck alcoholic, and Ryan Gosling's character from The Nice Guys, who's like a PI who like loses his cool in like almost every situation. And so I just like kind of mashed those two together, and that became Zero.
Yeah, I have to commend you, dude, for your RP through the whole campaign. I mean, I commend all 4 of you, but you really stuck to like Zero's character nuances, and like I really believed he was like someone who came undone under pressure.
And he stuck, and
Broke
Zero
down.
always stuck to his guns. He had a certain set of morals or a certain amount of ideals, and no matter what we turned to, you were always, that was it. Like, that is your ideal. That was your momentum. Like, and I love that, because it meant, for instance, at the beginning when Kardok came, we challenged each other a lot, heavily. And I remember you sending a message to me saying, I'm not doing this too much. I'm not doing too much. Like, no, dude, I'm loving it. Like, this is perfect. Because at the beginning, there was a lot of butting heads with a lot of us.
I will say, so I'd never played with Adam before this. That first session afterwards, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be like pulling fucking teeth. Like Adam and I are constantly just like, bang,
Yeah,
bang,
yeah.
bang.
But
And then
yeah,
Kardok died, and I was like, oh, maybe this won't be too bad.
I thought the exact same thing.
Because I'd before this, I'd never really played D&D with any of you for more than, like, apart from Kyle and Josh. Like,
With that one shot.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
although even before the one shot, like Josh running as DM, like that's the only other time I've run
Yeah,
stuff.
I played
coming in with
Starfinder
you,
with
Josh,
you like
and-
a few years ago.
Yeah,
And Humblewood.
and Humble.
And
which is the only
we did the
one.
Humblewood campaign together for you first. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, sorry.
Anyway, anything further to add, Sarah, Justin?
No, I don't think so. But I quite enjoyed. My initial kind of thoughts of this character were that like he was just gonna have a sad story all the way through, but then he had like his kind of turning point in the middle that I hadn't anticipated, where we went and rescued Rook, kind of like
Yeah, that changed the. for me
dragged
as well.
himself like off the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. And then, like, when you shaved your beard and tried to turn yourself around to be, like, non-alcoholic and half-decent person, which kind of worked.
Sort of.
Yeah,
Good.
Sort of
it was
worked.
good. It was good character development.
It was great. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's continue through Adam's characters here, because we still have three more to
we
go.
should
We have Uldark.
to Adam after
Let's
every.
go,
Yeah.
Uldark.
So Uldark was given as an egg to the Lorquil family as a wedding gift, and he was sat upon the mantle above the fire for a long time, and then suddenly one day he hatched. They totally didn't expect it, but the family very very friendly, so they took care of him, and they saw it as some sort of sign, because the family had a priest who was Sendril of the Silver Flame. He grew up as part of the cloth. So he was a paladin before he got involved with the war, and he had this, like, there was another girl in the family. Let me find her name, Marissa, who was part of the family, little girl he grew up with, and because Dragonborns come of age of 16, when he was around the age of 16, she was around the age of like 20, 21, so they're around the same age-ish. But he swore himself to Tiramoron, who fought demons and
Silver
stuff for
Flame.
the Silver Flame. Yeah, the Silver Flame. Tiramoron being the great paladin that really kicked it off. But yeah, he went out with the Silver Flame, and during that time he got captured and held for many years underground. And when he came out, the war had finished. So. And he literally, like, found his way back after several months to the family home, where it was just destroyed, forgotten. So
Yeah,
he's
sorry,
like,
but-
okay, it's alright. Nah, it's alright, you bastard. So he returned, so he went, where could they have gone? And he thought, best place to go was Shan, find some answers. But in escaping is where the warlock powers came out. So when I created him, he was like a fallen paladin, basically, and the best way to describe that was he had a fighter. He had 2 levels in fighter and 1 level in warlock. And that's so I could wear the heavy armor, but yet use the warlock powers. And he hid the powers from you guys for a long time. And when
Yeah.
it finally came out, he eventually obviously felt better about it, and then realized, rather than, try and shun it away, accept it. And he was in the stages of really accepting it when he died, tragically.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Uldark's
brutal.
journey was it was really entertaining to watch. But fuck, it was off the rails. I was like, I don't know what he's gonna do, where he's going next.
Actually, coming
I was
back
like,
to,
oh,
I have to commend you, Adam, for Old Ark's RP. Your portrayal of Old Ark, I was
I really enjoyed all that.
fully immersed. I was like, truly believe like you were playing like a disturbed after his years of torture and being locked away, just a mentally ill, unstable dragonborn who suddenly had these powers like shunned upon him and was trying to work out what to do with them. I was loving it, and I was so sad when I accidentally killed him with a blight spell. And
It's alright. It's alright. But look, like he was like a child. Like he regressed a lot. So in his brain, he might have been like closer to like a 30-year-old or something like that in his actual lifespan. But he was more like I think the thing that kept him going was his memories of him and Marissa playing together, being children and playing together. So he was recessed that much, and he'd forgotten a lot. Like he spent years underground in total darkness, getting prodded and poked to see what they could do with his dragonborn ancestry and stuff like that. And it was when I did it, I was like, when I created it, I was like, this is really sad. And the mental the mental recession kind of came on as we played the RP, and like him never exploring any of this because he was also isolated to this town, not even a town, it was like a manor in the middle of nowhere, and they just happened to be a lord and lady in the area. Like he never explored out, and he never got the opportunity to because he was captured before he could. So he was genuinely like, what the fuck, this is all this food, and his obsession with food as well because he never got some, I thought was a great thing that we could bring out. Yeah.
And that's when he wouldn't eat, Rook and I were not gonna kill him, but we're like,
I didn't realize how much of an effect that had to you.
Yeah, we're like
noticeable
waiting to see.
personality shift.
Yep.
Yeah. We're like straight up, okay, like we might have to kill him.
well,
Yeah.
I think that was one of my the amazing revelation. Like after Aldark killed, and you were kind of like talking about where you were going to take the character, and you were like, oh yeah, Aldark was considering killing Ciro, and I was like, oh no way, Ciro was considering killing Aldark, and I was like,
seriously, it's like, yeah, it seems so long ago because it was literally 20 episodes ago since I last played him.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's
I
crazy.
think I'm really sad that Aldark died. Aldark I had a lot of fun with. Kardoc I didn't get enough time to explore him to enjoy him. Aldark was great, and then Chet.
It was infuriating.
fucking Chet.
Well, my idea was Chet, which started from the class. So I'd played a rogue, I've played a warlock / fighter. This time I was like, all right, I really want to explore taking two classes and smashing them against each other. That wouldn't, I thought in my brain wouldn't traditionally work, but it worked out really well. And that was a rogue and a barbarian. So that was my first thought, was that. And I was like, right, what kind of setting can I have this? And that's when I came up with the idea of Chet being a pirate. I was like, all right, I want to play pirate. So I don't want to be like a captain or anything. I'll be a first mate and like second in command. And the idea was it is a dumb buffoon, but at the same time, like if you got on his bad side, similar to Kardoc, because I wanted to bring some more elements from Kardoc because I missed playing a rogue who's kind of a bit of a nasty boy. And so I mashed those two together. And I was like, this is gonna be good fun, like a kind of sneaking, tracking kind of barbarian. So basically the idea was when sneaking or hiding didn't work, fuck it, I'm bringing out my big long spear and I'm gonna kill people. So Chet, I think, was a lot less thought went into that character, but I loved playing Chet. Like it was fun to play this guy whose obsession with money also was his obsession with making sure he stuck to his beliefs in his religion. So, sadly, not a lot went into Chet as I probably should have put into him. But I loved playing him. I love playing that callous kind of Texan accented man. Yeah.
What about Alice?
Alice was a fun one. So obviously she's not your standard wizard, which is the one thing I kind of grew on towards the end. And originally, I was like, I just want to play an idea of a farm girl who always longed for this war, that all she ever heard of, that it was bad, it was nasty, and when she became of age and she could go to the war, she wasn't allowed. So she resented everything that held her back. So the whole idea behind her character was this escapism. Somehow escape from this life do what she really wanted, which was fight in the war. Because once the war ended, she saw all these people coming back broken, saw all these people back, and she felt guilty that she never did her part, which is why she stepped into the service of being a marshal. And she ran away from home and stuff like that. And yeah, it was nice because I wanted to play her. Main influence from her was Hermione Granger, but I wanted to play Hermione Granger in plate mail. And that was my advice. Like,
it was like mashed into Sigourney Weaver, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, well,
yeah.
With the mullet, the permed mullet, it was Sigourney Weaver, who is so close to my heart. She's my heartthrob. I love her. And so yeah, Sigourney Weaver was like what she looked like, but she had the personality of Hermione Granger. And so I tried to portray that as best I could. And yeah, no, I love Dallas. It's like, don't hold back Dallas. And just power behind it. And it was nice to play a character who got along with everyone. One that worked with the party. And yeah, and so it was really fun because, for instance, I was a sorry, I'll go to the character. I was a where's it called? I always forget its name because I never used it. She was a blade singer wizard. And the thing was, I never used Blade Song. I used it once, I think, and that's because
you tried to use it once. You realized you couldn't because you're wearing armor, and you're like,
well,
Blade Song.
And like, yeah, so I love the idea of playing this person who, yeah, is in heavy armor but also can cast spells. So it was really fun playing a tank wizard. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it worked quite well.
I think, yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was great fun. And yeah, like, my heart is with Aldark, and always will be with Aldark. But I have enjoyed playing all 4 of these characters during this campaign. And Chet, look, honestly, best death was Chet. Yeah. Did any of you guys go back and listen to Chet's death?
Yeah.
Yeah. That whole... Yeah.
What was it? Was it Blight again?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
No, it wasn't Blight. I mean, it
happened off screen.
Yeah, it happened off screen, so real. But he hit Chet with Ray of Sickness, I think it was, during the fight. And Chet had like not much HP at all, so he just dropped from it.
I had like 7 hit points, but he was like, "This is the guy who killed my captain. Yeah. This is the guy." Like he got captured. Him is on the ship when the big crate came up, which I need to speak to you about, Josh.
Yes, we'll get to that in Revelation section coming up.
Yeah, so when the crate came up and he was captured, put in a cage, he was like, "I'm not going in the cage again." And then as soon as he saw that guy, recognized who he represented and who he was like, "Nah, I'm going for him," which is hence why he jumped off the cliff to chase this guy. Because he was like, "I need to kill him." Like that obsession of getting revenge just took over him. And I genuinely was just like, the whole idea of him walking through a forest, firing arrows at this guy while he's like casting spells off and just like whistling and just like taunting him the whole time. I love that idea. And then when it came to him finally coming face to face with it, it was like, it was over in an instant. Just, he fucked me up. It was literally down to initiative. I think he beat me by a point or 2 in initiative, and he just killed me. And I was like, fuck.
How close was the bad guy, Josh? Because he was pretty fucked up.
Basically at full health again. He could heal himself, so...
Since
Chet was diving into it, I was like, "Oh no, Chet's very low and he's back at full health." I was like, "Oh, this is."
I already, when I made that jump, I had already come to terms with like Chet will die, dying. But I couldn't not do it because Chet wouldn't listen to anyone. Chet wouldn't go, "Now I'm too fucked up," because he's too full of himself to think that he could die. Like, and the whole idea is like he's just chasing that, and like he was as he was dying, he was terrified to meet his god. Absolutely terrified to meet his god. And like,
because the drowning.
Yeah. His so I have to admit, I'm that god is from a different realm, but I could
just disregard it and just like that's Chet's interpretation of the Devourer, like the Dark Six Devourer. So like which is actually a thing in Eberron. Like different cultures have different interpretations of the same deities, the same Dark Six. So yeah.
And so Chet had his thing where he had to give away half of his coin to be able to go in the water, or else what he called, or the Devourer, what he called the Sea Bitch, would come and claim him and come and take him. And it was just something he was brought up with. And so when he was dying, he was terrified, like absolutely terrified, because he knows that when he goes to the other plane, he is perpetually drowning for the rest of eternity.
A horrible
on the
god.
cusp. Yeah, it's a brutal god, but yeah.
All right, so we'll go through each of us. We'll do favorite moments now, and then we'll go to revelations where I can tell you shit, and you can ask me shit.
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
So if you want, I'll start with my favorite moments. I'll start with Adam. I think it's definitely going to be something from Old Ark. The first thing that pops into my head is at what was the base? The not Sturge base, not Rock base.
Kraken? No?
Oh no, it was Sturge base because that was the second one. Yeah, Sturge base, where you had the big argument with Ciro about what to do with the prisoners that you couldn't get out, and then Old Ark just marched along and executed them one by one. And that was
That's
probably
right.
the darkest point of the campaign. I think it was like that's probably my favorite moment. I think that from you, from Old Ark. That was
kind of a cusp of a turning point for him, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well. Oh,
that was
really
when,
good.
yeah, that was the moment when like Ciro decided that it's when he started considering. Well, not kill him, but it was like if it was in a situation where it would save
leave him
Old
for
Ark or
dead.
do nothing. Yeah, it would be do nothing.
Yeah, and I think
Because we just brought him back from the dead because he had like the intellect devourer.
yeah.
And we just like saved him from that, and then he just fucking nuked these people, and it was like, oh.
Yeah, and
maybe
I think
not.
other than that,
and that's what changed him.
I think the second one that pops into my head is the argument you had with Ciro. Briefly,
Always arguments with Ciro.
The argument you had with Ciro briefly before Rook accidentally murdered that playwright. Where you were like, Old Ark started pulling the playwright's drawers out and stuff, and Ciro cast command on him, and just like you dropped the drawer, and then the spell wore off, and you like threw Ciro against the wall. You do not cast the spells on me, and that was really good.
Do not cast those spells on me. It was
God.
his voice was so much fun because I had to press my tongue against my two front teeth.
It was very good, dude. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
You did well.
And I had to try and put on a slight French accent because he grew up with the elves.
I can feel it. It was great, dude. It was awesome. You nailed it.
I missed Old Ark.
Straight away. Just some questions from chat.
Go on.
RTP33, do you have any plans for the next campaign when it comes to the new setting? Oh, when it comes to the setting?
Ooh.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Allow me to explain in great detail. I've been dropping hints. I've been doing newspaper handouts throughout this campaign. I can't remember exactly what issue it is, so I don't want to go through all of them here, but I'm just going to show you one of these newspapers. Oh, whoop, there's the wrong one. Yeah, so I've been doing newspaper handouts throughout the campaign as little plot hooks and stuff. And anyway, it's been hinting at an expedition that has been funded. The University of Korenberg, which is in the gnomish nation of Zalago. The University of Korenberg has secured funding to launch an expedition to the continent of Frostfell, which is basically this setting's version of the Arctic. So Frostfell has only ever been visited by an expedition once a century ago, and he basically just went into like the bay there and then left, so it's basically untouched. So it's going to be a wilderness survival campaign. If you like the movie The Revenant, you're going to love this campaign. There's going to be a lot of screaming and grunting and drooling and bleeding. It's going to be fantastic. I'm going to make them. If they thought there was suffering in this campaigin, it's nothing yet. It's going to be great.
You can take me off. You can take me off that one.
Ukulele asks, how much time do you spend to prep for a session? For Eberron, because it's obviously it's a pre-existing setting, but it's my own campaign, and obviously I put a lot of effort into it. Like these, I make newspapers for them. I write the articles in the newspapers, even articles that aren't related to the goddamn storyline. But I generally get up in the morning. We have our sessions on Friday. I get up in the morning. I start working on it at around 11 o'clock, and I work for 7 hours straight to get it ready. And I'm usually not ready by the time 7 o'clock rolls around, so
Could have pulled me.
Yeah, so usually, or if there's something big, like if I have to make a map or something, I might start working on it Thursday night. What else have we got here? first of all,
Speaking of Mighty,
um,
just quickly, sorry.
just one sec. Thank you for the
Yeah.
follow, Omega Mendes. What were you saying, Josh?
I was saying, it's like, he's just asking if we would use new characters or continue on. I would definitely 100% play Ronan again. I'm never deleting his character sheet. I'd love to have him just pop in for another game. Like, the Echo Knight character is a lot of fun, and playing like a robot samurai is great. So.
Yeah,
It's just because he's
but-
OP as shit.
Oh no, not including the belt or anything like that. Including the belt, I'd still play Ronan.
Yeah, Mighty TV. I'm. This is going to be new characters in the new campaign, which will hopefully kick off by the end of June. New characters. I'm still working out the player roster as well. But there'll be new characters, but I'm definitely open to the characters from this campaign being revisited at some point, whether together or with them joining in new parties or something. Because I never really run high tier characters, and by that I mean anything above level 7. I don't really run campaigns. Not that I don't plan to. I will one day, but I like the level 1 to 7 is the very grounded, very you get above level 7, the characters basically become demigods, so they have to fight demigods, and then level 10 to 20 they're basically gods, so you have to fight gods. So the storyline gets blown out and becomes more and more epic and over the top and He-Man, and I like the grounded, like this campaign was a good example. It was I tried to keep it very noir. It slipped into cosmic horror here and there, and then I tried to bring it back to noir whenever I could. But that's what I like running.
Well, then bouncing back to that, because I'm curious, how much do you prepare for Strange Aeons compared to this?
Well, it's a pre-written campaign, so the longest thing, I obviously, as you've seen, I reproduce the maps from the campaign guide. I make them myself in Dungeon Draft, just following the given maps. So that's, once I've got those done, I basically just, to prepare, I get up in the morning, like I start working on it like midday. I read. This particular book we're on has been very unique in the fact that these little dream quests have been going on for each item are basically a session each. So
it's basically, it's like a sandbox.
Yeah, so this one's been really easy. I get up, I read that particular item quest, and then I go, all right, well, I've already got the maps ready, so all I needed to do is drag and drop the monsters so they're ready, have the stats ready, read up on the monsters so I know what they do. It's very quick. It's way quicker than having to write the story myself. So, Omega Mendes, Eberron is such a nice campaign set. Sad for not having too much adventures really. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I definitely wish it had more pre-released adventures. Pre-written adventures. I'm actually thinking the next one I have coming up, I can't release it as an Eberron adventure, but like, copyright wise, but I'm thinking about the next one releasing it as an adventure module for people on my Patreon. We'll see how it goes. So, yeah.
It'd be fun to play one during or during the war.
It would be. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
How excited am I for the new Foundry VTT roof update? Oh man! As soon as
the what?
The next Foundry VTT update comes out on the 1st of June, and so we're going to version 8. Oh, it's at 8.6. It's a stable release, but the two new features are an overhauled audio system and a layer for upper level tokens, meaning buildings can have roofs that you can see when you're outside, and when you walk in, the roof goes transparent, which is super dope.
Nice.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, so, and not just roofs, like the example they had like a character walking underneath like a stuffed deer head in the house and it goes transparent. It was so cool. Like,
Wow.
Awesome.
That's cool. That's like cool.
Alright, sorry, going on with favorite moments. Ronan, probably straight up when you found Kashana with her brain removed, and it was super sad. But
Fuck you, dude.
Yeah, Ronan, I just thought your role play, your reaction to it was just on point. Like the punching the wall and like yelling that she's not an experiment. Yeah, it was really good, dude. It was good.
No, thanks, man. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was as brutal as it was. It was like really poignant. I was like, okay, that's character building for the story.
I'm sorry that if the campaign was longer, I would have done more with the relationship between Ronan and the Corey in his head, like Ashana. But it's just
that's cool. That's all good. That could be the whole thing.
Zero is hard to pick because you fucking stuck to Zero's personality so goddamn well. Oh, there's so many. You know, someone else can start with their favorite moments, and I'll come back with that while I think about it. Who wants to go?
One that I really loved, which wasn't even like that great of a moment, but I loved it because it threw you for a loop, Josh.
What's that?
Is when Ronan, when we were in those cages, the cells, Ronan jumps up, puts an echo on the far side, jumps up, teleports to it, and you're like, okay.
No. I was in my head when he said it. I was like, I'm the DM. I could just say no, you can't do that because you like lose vision straight away. And I was like, oh fuck it, let's just see where this goes. And I was like, all right, you can do it. And I was like, fuck, why did I do that? Fuck.
The thing is, that's the second time I've done that to Josh as well. Like in the other campaign, Dark Suns, Revan can like essentially just turn to a ghost and go and phase through anything. So literally like got imprisoned. I'm like, I phased through the wall. It relates to everyone.
And then I realized that's a level 18 ability, and I shouldn't have let you had that when you leveled up. So that was my bad.
One of my favorite moments is any conversation we had with Banksy, mainly with Oldark, because the relationship between those two was always fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was, yeah. They kind of had like this weird bond straight away, just over their love of snacks. Yeah.
Like I remember him apologizing for eating the grilled lizard, and he's like, "What? I don't understand."
He's like, "Oh, is that offensive? Sorry."
I know you finished with it.
And then I remember at one point after Oldark died, he's like, "Oh, yeah, I really liked Oldark." It's like...
Now he's stuck with Chet. And I do apologize for creating Chet.
Oh, it's okay.
I love playing him. I think he was good, but
I have to admit that one of my favorite things from Chet is, because you remind me of it, is when we're in the base for the second time, we get stuck in the room with the giant shark. Oh no, sorry, we get stuck in the room, and essentially when Chet dies and everything like that, and he just wouldn't shut the fuck up. Like he just wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, Chet, please.
The one thing with Chet that me and Josh never got to do, but we talked about it, was, you know how I kept sending messages to what's her face?
Yeah. I was thinking about it.
Your love from the
my
Dark
lover
Dana.
We had a plan that we came up with, that one night assassins would be sent to us, and everyone would be thinking that it was sent by like an organization or something like that, but it was actually her trying to stop Chet. and it never came about. I think because we ended up disappearing elsewhere. But
we got a question in the chat, Josh.
Michael's Newok. I have a question. How many times did the players create scenarios that completely veered off the course you had planned? Have you seen that meme where it's like, what I give the players? It's like a loaf of bread and some ham. And it's like what the players give me, and like the loaf of bread is just cut in half and with like all the ham between it. So many times. But you roll with it and then act like it was your idea. So
that crate, episode 2 that we found inside.
We'll come to that. Ask me again after favorite moments.
I was going to say as well.
That's right.
There you go. No, you go.
No, you go. I'm taking so much time. Like
I just want to give a shout out to Josh for this one, because Josh's ability to roll with the punches and just ad-lib after we've just given him a fuck scenario is just out of this world. Half the time I don't even know if we've railroaded him or not. It's just so smooth. So it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
We do it a lot.
One of my favorite moments at the beginning was when I snuck into that warehouse and I saw Ciro as Kardok. And then I told everyone else that I can't find him, and we went to the next warehouse.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And I was so hoping, and I was genuinely so hoping that nobody else. That's why when we snuck in, it's like, now I'll go upstairs. Now I'll be alright. I'll go upstairs. We'll be fine. And so he went up there to make sure that he could find the information and leave Ciro behind as we burned down that warehouse. That was 100% what Kardok was gonna do.
Oh,
Jesus Christ!
Fucking stepping on my toe.
Oh, no, I reckon, what's it called? If Kardok stayed with us, Ronan probably would have killed him at some point.
Oh yeah, Kardok would have been killed by someone in the party, 100%.
Yeah,
he was
sure.
he was a 56-year-old goblin, which is like, yeah, you can't move any morals on someone.
I still remember, I think it was in the first episode, maybe the second, when Ciro in character asked Rook, he's like, "Why are you friends with this guy?" I'm like, "I'm fucking not. I just met him as well."
I still and the other part with Kardok, there was so many great moments with Kardok, like when Kardok woke up from his nap down the thing and he lifted up his eye patch and rubbed both of his eyes and then flipped the eye patch back down.
You hadn't didn't even divulge to me that he actually still had like a
no.
two eyes.
He just
and I was
wore an
just
eye
like,
patch to throw people off.
That was fucking hilarious. That was so funny.
One of the my favorite moments was the only time I was actually genuinely scared that Rook would die, and that was when he fell into the toilet
oh, the
sump
fucking
area. With the
Yeah, I was
Man, I
so
was-
scared for you.
and it came down to one dice roll. What was that,
Yeah.
Justin?
Do you want to know something? This is slipping into the next section, but do you want to know something? That
Go on.
you want to know something that you probably
Mm.
like behind the curtain kind of thing. Is
Go
I was
reveal.
looking for any excuse throughout the kids. So there's a thing called a Sabirus dragon mark, and it's when someone a marked person is put under like just this super stressful or like revelation or like epiphany scenario, and it makes their dragon mark basically like it mutates. It becomes like physically the dragon mark gets bigger and more intricate
Yeah.
on their body.
I did read about this. Yeah.
And it enhances their powers as well. And I was kind of like on the lookout for the 3 Dragon Mark characters for a situation where that could happen. And I was so caught up in stressing about Rook dying, I forgot about it because I would have done it in that moment.
Ah.
I just can't believe it got. I was on 2 health or
Yeah,
whatever it
was-
was, 3 health
It
maybe.
was such a close
Got
brush
down
with
to that
It was-
last dice roll where I was like, I have to use my action to dash rather than disengage, because otherwise it's just gonna catch me.
One of the best moments was, though, again, Rook being caught in the streets by himself and getting attacked by that hostage.
Oh,
guard
yeah, he's
before
that mad hype track and stuff.
Oh yeah, you
That-
had
the first
up in
hype
hands track.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
sick.
Yeah, that was one of my
Never-
favorite Rook moments. Probably it's not related to your roleplay of him really, but like that was a really just cool moment. I specifically wrote the hype track because I was like, I'm gonna make this balance this encounter so Rook is capable of winning. And as soon as you ripped out the firebot, I was like, yes, yes.
Yeah. That was such a hard choice, protection or fire, and I was like, I have to go for the win.
Yeah. Zero. I didn't even why this didn't. I didn't think of this straight away, but last week's session was easily my favorite moment of yours. The
Yeah, that was
20-minute encounter with Oren in his office was
With Oren.
one of the tensest non-combat encounters I've run in all my years as DMing, and yeah, it was fucking great.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was just I was trying to like extract information from you because I was like, I'm pretty sure he's possessed, and I'm pretty sure he's the one who sent us the amulet, but I'm just not 100%. And I was like trying to like worm information out of you, and then eventually I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah, it was really good, dude. I found myself as I was editing the video a few days ago, I just like ended up. I rarely like sit there and watch a lot of the videos while I'm editing it. I usually just like chop out the break. Pop out anything that I know is huge and sticks out. But yeah, I got to that bit and I just ended up sitting there for 25 minutes just watching the whole thing. I was like,
so good.
Got some
That's
chat
fucking
things.
awesome.
oh, we got some
Yeah,
more
you
questions in
got,
the chat. Alright,
2
here we
questions
go.
from the chat.
Mugs McGuinness. Hi, I want to play Dungeons & Dragons, but nobody plays with me. What should I do? So, Mugs McGuinness, there's a few resources out there for you. You can look, I don't know, wherever you are in the world. I suggest looking up your local game stores. Most big local game stores run a drop-in, drop-out like campaigns. There's the Pathfinder Society is one. I can't remember what the 5e, what Wizards
Adventures League.
Adventures League
Adventures
is
League.
one run by Wizards of the Coast. I think generally it's on Wednesday nights. I'm not sure, but check out your local game store. People run games there. Just go in, talk to people, say you want to play some D&D. Other than that, you can also look for Facebook groups in your local area, and you can also check out. There are some DMs that run games on Patreon. Obviously, like there's a fee for playing those, but the DMs that charge fees are usually quite good.
Some other options
check
are
them out.
there are Discord communities.
Discord
You can
communities
jump
too.
on
Yep.
and find people, and if you go to Roll20, you can literally like click find a game,
Yeah.
and there'll be
Yeah,
people
and
looking
online,
for
yes.
people.
Yeah, Roll20, you
It's-
can search for
yeah.
games looking for players. So check that out. If you want to play online, check out Roll20 and look for people looking for players. Otherwise, check out your local game store, and there should be some DMs running games there. Or if you want to learn how
And
to
they-
DM, grab the beginner box, and you
Yep.
can be the one running the games at the
YOLO
local
it,
game
yeah.
store. Yeah.
honestly, the starter set adventure is so much fun, and that it's so well written that you don't need to do much as a new DM to actually understand it and know what you're doing. And don't get hung up on the rules. Like, rule for cool. That's always thing. If there's something the character wants to do and you're not sure how they do it, just say, hey, roll this, and let's see if you can do it. Just make it mildly related. If they achieve it, awesome. If they don't, they don't achieve it. But don't get hung up on the rules. The best
Unless you're a god of and you've ingested the entire rule book and every supplement that exists.
Exactly.
But that's hard to do. So, yeah.
I think we'll your second question before we get back onto Trojan's one.
Okay.
Is it fun to be a DM? It's a different sort of fun to being a player. Being a player is kind of like, you're not like you're the one driving the story, but you still don't feel like you're in control. So it's like this different kind of fun. It's like all the unknown is ahead of you, and you're not really sure what's going to happen. Whereas in my experience anyway, being a DM as opposed to a player, the fun comes from kind of watching everything unfold. Like, you have your vague story idea for where it's going to go, but then kind of watching your players like follow this, retarded zigzag as they make their way around, like trying to do the things that they think you're supposed to do. So it's like a different kind of fun.
Well, it's like being an author and then watching everything just be the complete opposite of what your intention for writing it was.
Yeah, so as long as you're not too kind of precious about the story you're putting together, like it's fun in a different way. Yeah. So it kind of depends what you're after.
I find that maybe not straight away, but eventually DM, you learn that you become invested in the characters that the players create, especially if you talk to them. Have a session 0, help them craft the characters, and then you literally become upset when you kill a character.
Those session 0s are so important. Like, they're so good. If you can sit down with your player when they're crafting their character and really get to know them, like.
I think we just lost your audio, Adam.
Oh, there we are. Hello. Yeah, with Savage Bear Podcast, the one I'm running in Pathfinder 2.
Shameless plug.
It's not a shameless pod. I'm saying that me and Bray sat down for 2 nights, probably 5 hours each night, going through the backstory of Yuri, because we were just like, where does this guy come from? What is his intention?
Hey, Adam, how long did we sit down for? Like an hour?
Maybe 2. I think it was like 2 or 3 maybe. We still and different people approach it different ways, and when you get to know the character, and it basically, from my perspective as a DM, it's setting up a story with challenges and seeing how those challenges get like either they hit it full on or they try and stick around it. Like, there's this one adventure I run, which I'm not receiving any of you guys at the moment. Sorry, there you go, you're all back. Discord's playing out for me. This is one adventure I always run, and I've for like new beginner players, and I've run it like 6 times, and every time it's been completely different turnout. So you can never predict. And it's amazing. Every time I'm always shocked, and I love it.
Question from Trojans. Did you have any big, that wasn't the right way of doing this bit, lessons learned kind of moments you can remember? Oh, 100%. All the time. Even as I've been DMing for like 10 years, and I'm still learning, and there's always more to learn. I would say in this campaign in particular, outside of in-game stuff, hardware and software-wise, obviously I've been learning Foundry, VTT, and streaming for the first time, so I've been constantly rejigging things. The streaming was a big thing. Definitely when you're streaming, you do have to do certain things to make it more viewer-friendly. I think if you look at the difference between this campaign and our Monday night one, Strange Aeons, this one is like far more watchable. Not that the roleplay in Monday isn't fucking fantastic and everything, but Pathfinder system is a lot more sluggish and, in my opinion, less fun to watch.
Yeah.
Some people might argue that with me, but I think we've got to a point, and I've got to a point where I'm running 5e in Foundry is super smooth. Combat is super fast most of the time, and doing what I can to make it fun for all 5 of us, and at the same time be watchable on Twitch. So I think in the future I'm gonna shrink the Foundry window on the stream, make it a bit smaller, make the players' windows bigger, and around it. I'm probably going to take some cues out of Dreaded GM's book, but have a map still, whereas in the center somewhere, so we can focus more on the players, and I think would be good. Game-wise and GM-wise, let me think. During the campaign, I definitely regret. I mean, in the situation, there wasn't much I could do about it. Hitting Old Ark with just a one-hit spell, and then him having to be left for dead was terrible. Which is why I brought him back the next session as a horrible aberration that they had to face. That was his send-off that I gave him. I don't know. I was like, you know, he didn't get to say goodbye. The characters he didn't get any last words. Characters didn't get to say it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bring him back as a hideous beast that they have to face. And I was like, so that was my send-off for Old Ark. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
It still hurts so much.
Finally, I would definitely not call it a send-off. And more like a massive fuck you. But I know I loved that you did it that way though, because there was just so much shock when it happened. I'm like, no, he didn't actually do this, and then boom, there he is, fucking Old Ark aberration.
I was recently going back through all the videos and stuff, and I was listening pretty intently, and then I remember when I was watching the part when Order died, and I kind of stopped for a bit, and I realized I did the math wrong. And I think we've talked about this before. It was like it was brilliant and perfect, and I would not take it back. Like, I'm sad to see him go, but it was by my own mistake. I think it was like 4 points more, and it would have been ultimately him dead. But it was close enough, and I was like, fuck. Like, it's
That's a bummer.
That's my biggest regret, and that's my fault, and I solely blame myself for that. But at the same time, I wouldn't take that death away, because I remember when he died, and looking at all of your faces going, oh my god, what have we run into? Like, you see the shock in everyone's faces, and it's just like, holy shit. Like, the reality of how deadly of a situation we just walked into. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for that send-off, by the way.
No worries.
And if
Philip Joker in the chat, thank you for that. Adding on to Bugs McGinnis's question there, your excellent answer there. Thank you very much for that. Hopefully Danger Zero, when he said, I wonder how many times we forgive someone just because we don't want to lose them. I hope he's referring to forgiving your players for doing silly things, if it's something in real life. Yeah, please speak up, my friend. Some people...
Sorry, should laugh.
Rook, favorite moment. I really liked your interactions with Reese. I could really feel the brotherly love. It was, I really enjoyed reciprocating and like playing as Reese. That was very, very good RP. So I commend you for that one.
Brotherly, not so much lovers.
As love.
Gentle jibing.
Reese loves you.
Yeah, just poking him in the ribs. It's like, come on, man, you're better than that.
Oh.
Except when he fucking sold my plans.
Fishy, I only saw today's stream. Does that mean no more Friday D&D? It certainly does not. Next Friday, I'm in the process of moving house early next week. I'm hoping to be able to stream next Friday. It may or may not be if it's not D&D, I'm hoping some of my friends will join me in a game of Baldur's Gate 1 where we voice all the NPCs really dumb. But I'll hopefully be streaming next Friday, assuming my setup is all transferred. Friday after that, I'm doing a very special one-shot where Michael is an Ewok and Dreaded GM, two of my favorite other D&D streamers, joining us for a special Eberron one-shot on the 11th. And after that, I'm winging it. I'm hoping to have another 10-episode Eberron campaign kicked off by the end of June, but we'll see how we go. But I still intend to stream on Friday nights. D&D related, if we're not playing D&D. So I have quite a few projects I want to kick off.
You can also catch up on all of or this entire campaign and everything happening in Josh's Monday night campaign on his YouTube channel as well.
Yes,
so
YouTube
there's still
link below.
Plenty of content to get through.
There is, and so I've got Humblewood content planned. I want to kick off more Eberron. I've got so many Eberron stories I want to tell because we've barely scratched the surface of this huge setting, and I have another series I've got down the pipes that I'm gonna call Twitch DMs the little two little dots, not the word colon. Eberron, so like Eberron with extra R's, where it's gonna be like a very fun, lighthearted series of Eberron one-shots where players can drop in and drop out, so they don't have to commit to an entire campaign. And I'm gonna have a lot of Twitch integration where viewers can choose what the players encounter and things like that. So
I like that.
That's coming. It's coming. Yeah, something to get.
Save your channel points, guys.
Something to spend my channel points on.
There will be heavy channel point usage. And yeah, something to get to have more interaction with the chat and the viewers while we're playing, because obviously in live roleplay you can't really talk to the chat. I try to type things back, but yeah, that's coming. Any more favorite moments, guys, before we move on to revelations and secrets?
Yeah, I've got a couple.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Josh, if you want to finish yours though.
Yeah, just one quick one.
Yep.
It was me and Aldark. It was when we that first mission together, and like we had all the bodies, and we both just instinctively knew just to like cut their heads off and chuck them off, and like if it wasn't weird between us, we just like we just both knew we had to do it.
Decapitators.
Yeah, we became the Darklings. It was great. I love that. That was a good moment for me.
Yeah, Aldark and Ronan had a very special relationship.
Yep. Just violence.
Murdering things.
Deep violence.
We got each other.
Any more favorite moments, guys? Justin, you
Yeah,
got one?
yeah, I've got 3 that I'll just touch on briefly. So I think probably, I think my favorite like funny moment was definitely when we were heading to Sharat Cole and we like encountered the kobolds on the back of that like troll.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was so good.
When I was creating them, I was giggling my ass off. I was like, oh, this... yeah, how I came up with it because I was just like playing with the encounter builder, and I typed in the word. I was like looking at dramish monsters and people you can encounter. I typed in ogre and it was like ogre howder, and I was like, ogre howder? It was like an ogre with a howder on his back and he can carry 4 small creatures, and I was like, oh my god, this is fucking good. I was like, it's not a howder, it's a rowboat. The howder is a rowboat strapped to his back with 4 kobolds riding in it. It was
amazing.
Michael's Dewok, thank you for tuning in, my dude. Appreciate you sticking around for the evening. And I will talk to you soon. Talk to you on Discord about your character in the one-shot coming up. And I'll do one more shout out here. Continue, Sarah?
And then just kind of going along with what you were saying before. Yeah, Ciro's showdown, you could say, with Oren last week. Like, oh god, that was just super tense.
Yeah.
I was just terrified the whole time. I was like, I'm so dead.
And I could picture it when you hit him with protection from evil, and you said you grab him by the back of the head and you can hold him close. I could just picture him like looking up at you, like slumped over the desk, and you're like, "Tell me, Aaron, tell me." That was so good. It was good descriptive stuff, and on top of the roleplay, it was.
But I think still probably my favorite moment from the whole campaign, kind of selfish, was when Ciro and Ronan broke into Rock Base to rescue Rook, and we thought Chet was Aldark, sorry, but Aldark was already dead. And then when I think that was the first time we ever saw Dr. Coppola polymorph himself.
Yeah.
And so we got Rook, and Ronan had picked up Rook and was carrying him away, and Ciro kind of got separated, so Dr. Coppola as his big polymorphed shark creature was kind of between Ciro and everyone else who was running away. I was just like, well, it felt like a really fitting end for Ciro, and I was like, okay, this is it for him, he's done. And then somehow survived.
He survived. Oh.
But I think that was a great moment. I enjoyed that whole kind of session immensely. So good.
Just going back to Trojan's question about learning things and doing things, did I do things the right way or whatever. This entire campaign was actually my experiment on doing things completely the way the DMG says to, completely by the book. The only thing I only did a few times was random encounters, because it doesn't really work for Twitch, like randomizing encounter. Like it works in IRL campaigns, doing random encounters. You can roll on the table and then grab your minis, open the monster manual to the page. Where it's a little harder on Twitch because you gotta have the token set up, the map set up, and everything. So I only did that a handful of times. Other than that, all the treasure was randomly generated as per the tables in the Dungeon Master's Guide and Xanathar's Guide to Everything. Like everything. Even every time I created a monster token, the HP was rolled as per their hit dice. It wasn't set HP. So they could end up with higher or lower than the average.
Well done.
Yeah, anything like that. Wherever there was tables or random chance involved, I always did it. I always did the dice rolls. Just as an experiment. I just wanted to see, because Foundry makes these things easier because you have built-in roll tables and stuff. And it's not as slow as doing it in IRL. So it was a cool experiment. I really enjoyed it, actually. I would totally do it again. As I said, like, rolling random encounters doesn't really work. What did you guys think of the rate that treasure was handed out, magical items and things? Were you satisfied with the things you got, or?
Yeah.
I was, yeah.
Yeah?
I'm very much
more.
I'm very much used to Pathfinder, and I love the idea of Pathfinder has a lot more magical items than the D&D world
It does, yes, yeah.
And I think the D&D magical items that you get are awesome, but they are aimed at very high level play. For instance, the Cloak of Displacement that I have, which is just insane. Because you're like, yeah, just grab yourself an epic item. Well, not an epic item, but like
up to rare. Grab something as an heirloom that was passed out.
One of them was a bloody hat of teleportation. I'm like, I can't take that. I had to stop myself.
I mean, clearly, I didn't realize what I was doing. So actually, that was one of those moments, Trojans. That was exactly one of those moments. Never say that to a player. Never say pick an item of rare. Pick a magic item of rare, rarity, or lower. That is a mistake.
Yeah. But so for me, I love magical items. Hence why I love Pathfinder, because Pathfinder magical items are very, very common. And that's the only thing that makes me sway more towards Pathfinder than D&D. But the amount that we got in this campaign was good, because it made me focus on what I was doing as a character in my role.
Yeah. Which,
like, as for each of my characters. Which was really interesting. It made me focus on, okay, where am I standing in combat? Am I making sure I'm on the opposite side of the enemy so that it's flanking? Like that. They made me think a lot more about tactics rather than worry about, this magical item allows me to do this, which I really liked.
Yeah. Oh, and on top of that, obviously we were doing XP leveling, and I did that completely by the book as well. Like we did. You got XP for the
until the finale.
Until the finale, obviously. But you got XP for the encounters you did, and then I would add some bonus XP for out of combat stuff. But you all leveled up at exactly the pace that the DMG recommends, and it did work out that way because basically the game design of 5e is that you spend 4 or 5 sessions at each level. Assuming you do combat in each session, that is the goal of their system, and it worked. Like 33 episodes, and you almost hit level 7. So yeah, you leveled up at exactly the pace you're supposed to on XP. I don't think I'll do XP level again unless I'm doing another campaign this long. It'll definitely be the next one. The 10 episode one I'm planning will definitely be Milestone.
Yeah. I like Milestone 11.
Yeah. Cool. Any more favorite moments?
Yeah, Katie just reminded me of when Chet got turned into an octopus.
Yeah, Chet got polymorphed into. I don't think that was his favorite moment.
That was
but,
good. That was good.
I liked it and I didn't. It was fun. I know that Chet hated it. I know Chet hated it. I found it funny, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do and I was trying to do the best I can, but yeah, no. Chet hated that.
Yeah, I'm sorry you got stuck in as an octopus for
I don't mind.
For 10 turns.
10 turns as an octopus. And I'm like, what can I do? And I was like, I'm going to try and put myself in flanking. So
you know what happened? I think someone said they were going to boot you. I think it was Ronan or Zero. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, as soon as they said that would have released you from the polymorph. Because I think
I was avoiding attacks as well as an octopus.
Yeah, because I think you had like 3 HP, and a single unarmed attack from Ronan would have just reduced that and booted you out of the polymorph back to your normal self. And then he decided not to do it, and I was like, oh. Well, that sucks for
was a-
Adam.
There was sadly a lot of times as Chet, because Chet is a powerhouse in combat in the right conditions, and I was really waiting for those moments, but only occasionally I got to do it.
I'm just gonna duck away for 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
That's right. How are we doing? Are there any more questions in chat? 5e items are all over the place, like immovable rod is uncommon. Yeah, magic in D&D is it's very hard to come by, I think, and then it's good. It's good and bad. I don't know how do you guys feel about magical items?
I like them, but I think it should be literally one per player, like one per character. If you start stacking up magic items and the characters become too OP.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah, I think the way I play my games is the characters get like a magic, not each, but as a party get a magical item like every session or every other session.
Oh wow, every session.
But they're always
Minor.
generally incredibly underpowered unless they're story related or character specific. Yeah, so like I'll give them something like your sword, you can roll 2 damage dice and pick the highest one.
Oh, okay, right,
I
yeah,
have returned.
yeah.
Hey, I'm just talking about magic items and what we think about them.
Let me bring up some of my magic items because
Yeah, so the
So you
first,
homebrew your magic item.
first one I rolled for you guys, first major one was that Belt of Giant Strength, and it was a huge one. So
Fucking massive. The amount of damage that Ronan's put dishing out after that was insane.
actually, this is we're slipping into Revelations and Secrets now. There's a handful of them I didn't get to hand out to you guys. Do you want to know what they were?
Oh yeah.
Do tell.
There's my
Because
notes.
yeah, I am getting a little tired and haven't eaten food, so.
Yeah, we'll go we'll just do this Revelations bit and then we'll wrap up the stream.
No, I need to know stuff, so.
yeah. There was an instrument of the bards, which was useless to you guys, but I rolled it at the table, so I was gonna give it to you. A periapt of wound closure and a javelin of lightning.
Where was the javelin? Where could you have gotten that?
Well, that's it. Like I rolled it. I think.
Oh, but we didn't ask to search for treasure. Yeah, right.
No. It's just like I was waiting for a good moment to give it out. You know what I mean? Like. So,
Oh,
like
yeah. I get you.
I don't just hand fist
yep.
in like, oh, there's a javelin of lightning like sitting in the corner.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I'll just read out some chat questions and we'll start Revelations and Secrets.
Very excited for this.
If you could change one thing about your character, what would you change? Does anyone have?
Which character?
Well, does anybody have anything they would have changed about their characters, or are you satisfied with the way you do?
Rook was originally going to be a girl.
Oh,
Really? Ah, true.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
So if I was to play Rook again, that's the one change I would probably make.
Okay.
So he goes into the mist and then comes out a girl.
That can happen actually. So.
Oh, there you go. Unless you want to agree.
I don't think I think I'd change anything about Ronan. I like him if he could eat, because Josh made the food sound so fucking tasty at the whole campaign. That was so annoying.
Again, roll tables, so good, randomly generated food.
That was one annoying fact that I didn't like. I fucking changed that, but obviously you can't. So I really like that epilogue, that little bit you threw in. So thank you for that.
I'm gonna roll one right now. What do we got here? Basilisk Bisque, with a broth made from basilisk scales filled with root vegetables and basilisk meat. This bisque is normally served in a warmed stone bowl. There you go.
Who doesn't want that?
Alright, let's move on to Secrets and Revelations. So I'm gonna fire off a few. I wish I made a list of these, but I didn't. So I'm definitely gonna miss a few, but we'll talk about them in the future when we're hanging out. If you have any questions or you want to know about something, about any of the things I'm firing off, or anything else unrelated, just go for it. Alright, go, Adam. You start. Go. What do you want to know?
That box in episode 2 in the warehouse, was
Yes.
that the same box that was pulled out of the sea?
The giant crate with the Bailey & Co. salvage stamp on it that you guys saw in the warehouse wasn't specifically the one that that Chet saw getting pulled up, but it was a piece. It was a piece of the Soul Forge.
Wow. Jeez, and because we looked at it and went, no, we'll leave it, and then just carried
it's
on.
fine.
Yeah, and then burnt it to the ground.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's I'm gonna bring up a few of those, but there was a few little clues that I threw in throughout the campaign that got sidestepped, and I was just like, just for fun. I was like, if they find it, they find it, and it accelerates like their, the story or whatever. But okay, so off the top of my head, first episode, as shortly after Banksy introduced you all at the healing house, and then as he walked out the door and you heard him yell at someone, he goes, "Fuck, stop me while I'm walking again, you wish you wouldn't." He said something like that. He bumped into Taran and Taran's assassin and Cash's would-be kidnapper. He bumped into him outside the door as he was lurking, listening to you guys.
Oh, that's so infuriating. Well, okay.
You sure you wanna know more of these?
Yes.
Alright, so the man with the shifting face that accosted you in the Shan City streets, and then he dived onto a stagecoach. Ronan, I believe the phrase you used was, "I salute him away." And then Oldark pursued him and crashed his stagecoach into the side of a building and killed him. It was Cash's kidnapper and Zero's brother's murderer. That was your lead to find Kashana before her brain got removed. So.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, my bad.
I should have chased it after him. That's fucking annoying. Damn. The thing is that I probably would have just killed him anyway. Wouldn't have asked for any information. Just been like, oh.
Probably.
Yeah.
What else? There's quite a few of them. Do you want to know what I had planned for Oldark?
Yes. What was the idea with that? Because that was one of the best. The whole church seems great.
So it wasn't the Traveler that was bestowing the Hexblade powers upon it.
No.
Yes. It's so it was one of the 30 fiend overlords that they got imprisoned. So they were the original sort of dominators over the planet as Eberron was created. If you watched my History of Eberron video on my YouTube channel, link below. So they were the first, the 30 fiends, 30 archfiends, and their demon followers poured out of Kyber and at the genesis of the world. And then they were imprisoned by an alliance of dragons inside Kyber dragon shards, which are hidden throughout the world. But they can still exert influence over people. And so it was one of the fiend overlords pretending to be the Traveler, manipulating Oldark to his own ends, which was going to be a whole other plot point within the campaign that didn't end up coming to fruition. So,
that was sick.
Which is why Oldark speaks to his blade in Infernal.
Yep. I was
right.
He was speaking to the blade in Infernal the whole time.
Infernal. God damn.
So their fiend overlord, the overlords have demon followers in Eberron called the Lords of Dust, and it's like a shadow war between those Lords of Dust and a secret alliance of dragons called the Chamber, and they manipulate the mortal races like pawns as a game. And so Oldark was being manipulated by the Lords of Dust and their overlords, and eventually at some point in the campaign you would have come into conflict with the Chamber and probably met some dragons and stuff that were trying to stop Oldark from unleashing evil upon the planet inadvertently.
Damn, that's cool.
Upset. That's awesome. Thank you, Josh.
Is there anything else? You guys must have some questions.
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah.
So initially, following Taran's murder, Stiro was on the hunt for leads on Noctis. Were there any?
Where was he searching again? Was it
in Shan?
In Shan? I can't remember at what point that was.
Because it was in Taran's journal. They meant when we got.
Okay, I remember now. You were visiting the city archives.
The note that we deciphered. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're visiting the city archives and stuff. No, there was not. So Noctis were very good at obviously covering their tracks. But now that you say that, there were. I honestly wasn't sure how the 13 Gala was going to go when Zero went on his own, and I was wondering if the rest of the party was going to sneak in. But there was leads that you could have found in the mansion. I wasn't sure if Zero would sneak off, like, into, like, the upper reaches of the manor or stuff, but it was my intention that if he did find his way up into, like, the study and things like that, you would have found some leads up there. Or if the rest of the party broke in and did some sleuthing. Yeah, it just didn't go down that way, so...
That goes into my question, actually, with the Gala and stuff, because we didn't sneak in and everything. Like, because the feeling that I got is, like, if we tried to sneak in, like, we would definitely get caught because, like, you know, there's guards everywhere and stuff like that. Was it possible? Were you expecting us to actually sneak in and break in?
I was, actually, yeah.
Yeah?
I was, yeah.
If we did do it, like, was it plausible to do it then?
Yeah.
Or was it like,
It's D&D.
yeah, okay, because
It's D&D.
yeah,
What
no,
do you
it was more like I thought it sort of as like, because I think this was just after we lost Aldark as well. Like Chet it was like the one we were going with Chet, and Chet and I were out like on top of the balcony and stuff. I was getting the feeling that it was kind of like an impossible win situation. Like if we do go, it could really go bad. Like, and ramifications like would go outwards from that because, you know, like the Boromars, what are they called?
I think the Gala was pre-Chet. There was Aldark at that point, and then the wedding was
Oh,
Chet. Yeah.
sorry. I'm thinking the wedding. Yeah, the wedding. My bad.
But I was
Yeah,
both,
I was thinking the wedding.
both cases I was expecting the rest of the party to do some sleuthing, but they didn't end up doing it.
True.
So, yeah.
Sure.
One thing I wish that we did was have an epic fight on that airship.
Oh,
Yeah,
me too.
that's the
Oh,
one
that's
thing I
that's
wish we
another
did.
thing. That rock base encounter, the one where Chet died. Again, I wasn't anticipating what you guys were gonna do, and I was prepared for you guys to jump on to work together, defeat the Warforged Titan, and then jump on board the airship. But it didn't go down that way. So
I didn't think it was possible to kill the Warforged, to be honest. That's when I saw it
It was-
tonight.
it
I
was-
was like,
it was a
oh
hard-
my god.
it was a hard
Yeah.
balanced encounter, but you guys could have beat it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw it tonight, I was like, we're about to run. There's literally no way we can kill this thing.
Yeah. I'm
Well,
not sure
it
if
had
you,
the
if
same
you know,
rating. It was
but
like
we were
back
sitting
then.
as-
I think you guys were level 5 back the first time you encountered it. So it was a hard-based encounter for all level 5 characters, plus backup like Parker helping you as well.
Plus, we'd already like used a whole bunch of our utility, like
you had,
breaking
yeah.
in, and yeah.
And then tonight it was a hard encounter balance as well for 3 level 7 characters against the Warforged. So yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was quite well. Did you notice that Kyle and I were setting ourselves up to run? Like that's
I
how,
didn't.
like, yeah, that's how. Look,
I
Ronan,
saw
the
it.
whole,
Yeah,
Ronan's
I
whole like
was
situation there was
fully-
to run away.
Yeah, fully prepared just to ditch Alice as much as I
Fuck you.
liked her. I was like, Rook's got no sense of heroics. He would have just run.
Granted Super, thank you for the follow. Is this the part at the end where the DM is telling the players what they missed during the campaign? Yes, that's exactly what it is. There is. Do you guys have any more questions?
Hit me with anything.
Oh, just general questions about Drum and the Dream Key and
Oh yeah, whatever happened with that?
yeah, like what was the plan with that?
I don't know. That was open ended for me. Like whether you
Okay.
use the Dream Key. Oh, like the first visit with the Dream Key was my intention for you to get information from them about the Dalkir.
Yeah.
And what they did to the Dakani Empire and what they must be planning to do to the current inhabitants of Corvair. And then if you use the Dream Key again after that, I was just gonna roll with it. So
Yeah, well, I was planning on using the Dream Key like 2 sessions ago. Well, like 2 months ago, I was planning on building up to using the Dream Key again. But then the campaign was like coming to a close. I was like, okay, maybe he uses it after the campaign is finished.
I got a question. Sorry,
Yeah.
finish your train of thought.
no, go for it. Go for it.
How did Oren and House Madani? How did they find us in Korth, and how long did they know we were there?
So that Elder Brain can sense every creature's mind within 5 miles. So
Wow.
as soon as you stepped off the train in Korth, it knew you were there. So
Ah, damn.
Oren found a moment of lucidity and was able to write that scratched piece of parchment saying you're being watched and force 4 amulets into a box and send it, and then before he slipped back into it. Yeah, that's...
I didn't expect that tragedy, to be honest. Oh, the whole being possessed thing was... I did not expect that, see that coming at all. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. And then for him to kill himself, like, because,
Yeah, well,
you gain that control. Oh, man.
Yeah. I probably could... I didn't want the exposition at the end to drag out for ages. But I could probably fill out more of what happened to you... What happened in the story for you guys now, if you want. So, yeah, it was basically... It was a Dalkir plot being perpetuated by flesh weavers, or basically like the there's
the transcendent flesh.
The transcendent flesh, yes. Who is the cult following? There's a few Dalkir, but one of them's called Durin the Corruptor, and yeah, his cult is the transcendent flesh. And so Durin the Corruptor is locked away by druids from when they invaded 5,000 years ago, but his influence still remains. So he can still influence people, and he still has followers like the cultists. And so, yeah, he's using his influence and the cultists to manipulate a few members of the 12, so it was Golan and Oren, for decades to carry out his bidding to build a new army, to try another invasion on Corvair, and hopefully find a way to get himself out of his prison within Khyber. So, yeah, used his influence to, and that his minion, the Elder Brain, to take over Oren and Golan's mind. So they were the only two directly being controlled. They were using Matthias's Urtane's reach, wealth, and influence, and just his own greed and apathy for other people's lives. And then as like their front. So it's Nocte, his company so Matthias's company Noctis is what he was using. And then through that, they used Ciro's work during the war to find victims for the experiments, half-bloods and half-races, because they were most compatible with this hybrid serum experiment. At the same time, Matthias also uses influence to use Major Korax, who was using unknown to Ronan. Ronan was also being used in this plot to kidnap people during the war. He thought he was working for Sire, but he was doing it for Noctis. Obviously, Oldark was one of the victims that got caught up in that, and taken to one of their labs. And meanwhile, the Warforged Colossus was like a secondary thing. They had their intention was to install that aberrant heart inside the Colossus, and make it like this giant rampaging war machine, controlled by the aberration, but you guys shut that down as well. So, Rollo was also a tool being used by Matthias, and further up the chain, so it goes like the chain goes like Dalkir, Oren and Golan, Matthias, and then all the other minions below him.
Matthias was possessed, right? But at first he wasn't.
No, he wasn't possessed. No, he was just literally just doing it for the money.
Yeah, cool.
Mostly just turning either was unaware or turning a blind eye to like the cataclysmic ramifications of what Oren and Golan were up to.
Gotcha. So yeah, he needs to die especially bad. Well, that's cool. I didn't think... Yeah, that was rad.
As you see, my whiteboard is literally like the Charlie Day meme. Like I've had it next to me right here for almost a year with this giant web of like shit on it. I was like, oh man, this is too complicated. I'm gonna J.J. Abrams myself.
No, I'm very glad for being part of this.
Yeah, no, it was great,
man.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, thank you again. Thank you so much.
No, again, thank you guys for participating in it. Obviously, yeah, as I've said, like the Twitch channel, this campaign and the Twitch channel couldn't have happened without you guys turning up for it. So I owe it to you guys. And it's a very good time as well. Like obviously, running the Twitch channel and these campaigns is giving me something to do in this fucking train wreck of the last 12 months. So thank you guys for for allowing me to do this.
That's right. Thank you for selecting us as your
Yeah.
cast.
Thank you for inviting.
Appreciate it. I still remember.